Okay, so we actually do have Alaji Barry in the studio with us, and I do have Hafiz. They've joined us. I told you earlier we'll be talking about breastfeeding in public. Yes, I'm grateful Terence actually sent your thoughts. We'll read all of that right here on the show. But we actually took out and then got some voices on how people feel. I mean, your opinion on breastfeeding in public. Before I come to my co-host in the studio, let's just take these voices first.
Being a health professional, we work around breasts and stuff like that. So seeing a woman take out her breast to feed her baby, it's something quite normal to me. Like I don't have any problem with it, but I guess other guys out there would have a big problem with it. But for me, I find nothing wrong with it. But probably public places they should have rooms, special rooms where breastfeeding mothers can go and breastfeed their babies, like at their own convenience.
The issue of breastfeeding, I don't actually have a problem with it, with a woman breastfeeding publicly. It depends on the situation. And secondly, what I advise is that women should find a way of actually probably finding a decent place to breastfeed. If there are people around, they could find where people are not so that they can seclude themselves to breastfeed, or find an enclosed area to breastfeed the child and then subsequently move on. But if there's no option, if the child needs to breastfeed, let's say she's in a commercial vehicle traveling from one point to another and the child really wants to breastfeed, she can't wait and see, let's say the person's traveling from Accra to the Volta region or to Kumasi. You can't be in a bus and say unless you get to Kumasi before the child can breastfeed. So depending on the situation and where the person can actually sit quietly in a close area to breastfeed. So on my part, it is normal to breastfeed a child publicly, but there's a way you can enclose that. Even in the bus, maybe where you are seated, you could find a way of enclosing yourself to breastfeed a child. Thank you.
In my opinion, regardless of the place and time, a mother can breastfeed the baby once the baby is hungry. I think for safety reasons, I'll say the only time a mother should not breastfeed is when the baby should be seated in a car seat when the car is moving. But even if it's in a public place, the mother can breastfeed using something to cover up.
Okay, so you guys have heard some of the voices of people think, some say they don't have problem. Mothers believe the mother should actually look for an enclosed place or the mother should cover up. And I do have my co-host in the studio with me, Hafiz and Barry. Welcome, guys.
Yeah, what's up?
We're good. So let me just pose a question to you guys. Hafiz.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about a woman? I mean, have you ever sat in a trotro, a public transport bus here, and then seen a woman?
Have I ever sat in? Who hasn't sat in a trotro?
Let me finish the question.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever sat in one?
That is that.
I'm even surprised.
I find the premise funny. Anyway, go on.
Let me finish the question
Okay,
first.
So go.
Yeah, they are shaving your hair and you are touching it.
I'm
The
shocked.
barber will just remove your fingers.
Okay, have you ever sat in a trotro and then seen a mother openly feed the
Countless
baby?
times. Countless.
And what was your? How did you feel? How was your reaction to it?
Was I supposed to react?
It was a
It's
question.
normal. It's normal.
It was normal for you.
I didn't think anything of it actually.
Okay.
I'm usually ambivalent when it comes to such conversations. I
Okay.
didn't think anything of it, honestly.
Okay. Barry, have you?
Yeah, countless times. And I think to a larger extent, I didn't really think much about it. And then I thought about it again. Like, I wouldn't want to see the woman's breast, you know.
You.
I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable, you know. I'm sorry to say this, but I don't really feel comfortable sitting next to a woman with a baby because I wouldn't want to make her feel she is making me uncomfortable. You get me?
Okay.
With a baby, and then maybe with breastfeeding, you know. So
Okay, but you're not comfortable with seeing the breast out like that.
exactly, I don't have a problem breastfeeding your baby in public, but I don't want to see the
breast
breast
out.
out.
Okay.
Yeah, like yeah. What's your problem? No. What's his problem?
I mean, look, it's Hafiz. It's Hafiz.
Right.
What did I do now?
You're too. Anyway.
It's Hafiz. It's Hafiz. So
let's continue.
We'll continue, but we actually do have Terrence Elikem. He's actually saying he feels uncomfortable, just like the way you're saying, except for the sake of his size, and then also he understands that it's a necessity, but then also the feeding aspect is necessary, and then also some people also tend to do the best to cover it, and sometimes some people can't tolerate it. You understand?
Yeah.
So yes, it depends. It's about, for him, it's about using a feeding bottle, but then I feel
how do you feel it? Okay, unless you're using more like a baby food
or something. But there's actually one Mr. Donting sent a message, and he was like, he doesn't have any issues with it because it's the baby that tells you when to feed it. So wait till you sit in the public transport and the baby starts kicking about, and then he will know whether to bring out the breast or not. But we still have more voices, and we're going to play them. And yes,
we're just gonna pick out takes on the voices, or we just go with them.
I mean, because you guys have also had your take, and you don't have anything. You have a bit of.
You said you don't have. You said you don't have anything. That's what you said.
You say you don't have anything about. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You don't have a problem with seeing the breast out and the woman feeding. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So I mean, he sides with some. We'll come back to you. Have his gunu. Has he eating today?
I don't think so.
Okay, right. I think we had to prepare some lunch for him. Right after this. Okay, now let's go take some of the other voices. We'll be back to continue.
From my point, I would say women who are schooled enough, who are enlightened enough, most of them won't breastfeed in public because now there are a whole lot of technologies like tech around. There's a breast pump and stuff like that. So you get a breast pump, you get your breast milk in it, you put it in a bottle, you go to wherever you have to go. When your kid needs it, you just take it out from the bottle and just give it to the kid. You get it, rather than bringing your whole breast out for the kids, people around and stuff like that. But the people who do that, I would say, like, if they should be enlightened more, they wouldn't do that. Like, that's all I have to say. Some people see it to be cool, others see it not to be cool, but I personally, I see it not to be cool because I'll choose the breast pumps over bringing the whole breast out. That's it.
Do I feel okay breastfeeding my baby in public? Yes, I do, in capital letters. How can I say I'll deny my baby of food or of breast milk because of what? What would be my reason? That I'm shy or what? If I felt I was shy, then I shouldn't have given birth in the first place.
I would say yes. It's not like you want to show your breast in public, but then there's a hungry baby. You have a baby who is hungry and the baby is crying. I mean, let's say you are very far away from home. You can't say you wait till you get home before breastfeeding the baby. So yeah, why not? If the baby is hungry and you have to breastfeed it, you go ahead and breastfeed the baby. You can cover the top of your boobs and then give your nipples to the baby to suck. And I think there's nothing wrong in doing that.
Charlie, what happened? You are tuned to Africa Global Radio. My name is Manifest from Accra, Ghana. Bless up.
Okay, so we still had some more takes. Gentlemen, I particularly I have an issue with one, but then let's have this. Let's start with you.
Yeah, I find the conversation interesting. Because I mean, it goes in line with how much we've policed women's bodies and sexualities for centuries on end.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from chastity belts to female genital mutilation to breast ironing and breast flattening, or some call it breast sweeping. You know what I mean? And for context, for those who don't understand what it is, it's just the use of sometimes spatula. Some use stones, yes, or hot stones to try to, flatten or just stop the breast from appearing. So in certain cultures, they just tie a band-aid around, yes, a pubescent girl's chest, just so the breast will not appear. And we do all these things, and for centuries on end, these are things we've done for girls. Now, I remember in 2017, I think there was this Australian parliamentarian that trended, a female, Larissa Waters, for one simple reason, and that was she was breastfeeding her baby in Parliament. Now, I remember asking myself then, why is this news? She's breastfeeding. It's not like we haven't seen someone breastfeeding anyway. But why is this news anyway? Then that was when it dawned on me, like, just how much we've squeezed women into a corner sometimes. And you realize how difficult it has become for them to just, take care of their babies in such a natural way. Okay, it's just part of the natural process. And when you even read materials on this whole conversation, it's even more worrisome. From women getting ejected from restaurants and public facilities because they are breastfeeding, to women, having to use the restroom just so they can escape public eye and judgment, just to breastfeed. And the ridiculous one, sometimes they even tell you to do it, but then no show nipples. It just goes on.
How you breastfeed without showing your nipples? I mean,
exactly.
That's the part that needs to be exposed for the baby to be.
Well, they
able to
tell you that
grasp,
if you can actually control how you expose your nipples, then it's fine. If not, then take it outside or something. I'm like
bringing the dead back to life.
So I'm sitting and asking myself, like, how did we get here? And by we, I mean the world. How did it get so bad? How did we get to this point of this whole conversation? And you realize there are just a few factors that comes in mind. And because, we've seen it every now and then. Now, and I can hazard a few guesses here and there. Now, for example, if you take the size of the child, it's a very important factor as to how you even get, stares and looks from people. And even take a child that's more like, say, a 20-month-old child. And you see, the thing is, once the child grows to a point where they can simply locate your breast and take it out and start.
Oh yeah, yeah. Guy knows exactly where it goes.
Something.
We've seen it countless times.
You see, when that happens, you don't have to be worried about men, or perverts looking at your breast in a lustful way. Even your fellow women will start asking, what's going on? This is a grown man now. Why are you still breastfeeding this guy?
Guy walks and then starts.
and it gets so uncomfortable for a lot of women.
I like that. That scene, that particular scene for me is like, it's epic.
I'm sure when I said it, you've pictured it.
I just pictured. Look, I'm looking at one boy that did that action yesterday with his mom. Guy walked with his
sneakers and funny overalls, and you just take out the present. So you have the mother's.
Oh dear.
Exactly. And so having to do that even in public, then she's gonna get all kinds of looks and questions. What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. And so for a lot of parents, that is quite very uncomfortable. Yeah. So you have the breastfeeding in public thing here, not exactly ideal for them. So it affects the way they do it. Now another reason is the over sexualization of the breast, and that is a whole conversation on its own. Because you see. And interesting enough, with over sexualization of the breast, there are two things that are on the opposite ends of a spectrum. That I can say is attributed to over sexualization: pornography and religion.
Yeah.
Now these are two things that are very opposite, but somehow they lead to this. Why is that? Now when you take pornography, and you look at porn addicts, an addict sees a person, and all they see is a sexual object. Okay? And porn addicts, they are turned on by practically anything.
Yeah.
Okay? From your hair to to what you're wearing, to even your ankles. You don't have to do anything to turn them on, which is very worrisome. So much less the breast. So you take it out in public, you probably would have a stalker on your hands. Now, then the religion. Now here's the interesting thing about religion. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for this, but you see, the thing about religion is, if you take certain historical, societies or traditional societies that we've had, where women, before, Christianity, Islam came into the picture, where women went topless occasionally or sometimes, you realize, surprisingly, men in these societies were very comfortable with breast. In fact, it was almost like, it was
a normal thing.
Your leg or your hand. But once these religions come into the picture and people are asked to cover up, suddenly, what's going on under that?
Why do we? Yeah. So the moment you start bringing minds to a certain thing,
So
like
it's almost like forbidden it is the allure here.
yeah.
Suddenly it's coming out like, okay, what's going on?
Why are you making?
Yes, knucklehead, what's going on? What do you want to know? You know. So it's an interesting conversation when you look at it all around. But I mean, these are just a few of the things. I mean, it's almost like now that it's something forbidden, I want it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to see more of it. Anyway, and
Adam and
it's
Eve and the
unfortunate.
apple.
That tree has been there for eons. The moment they say don't say
And the
that,
apple.
yeah,
We were told not to touch the apple. That is what actually caused it.
yeah.
Barry.
Charlie, I think Hafiz has actually said a lot, but the thing about it is, yeah, you know, kind of like, I would say it's not really a bad thing. I mean, your baby is craving, you know, crying in public and everything, and the only thing, you know, that would keep it mute or actually let it go back to the way the silence nature that it you know it was before, maybe the breast milk, you know, and most people would say, okay, that's kind of like and it depends on the how do you call it, the age of the baby. Okay, so early stages, we're talking about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, at least 6 months baby. You're looking at wanting to breastfeed the baby, you know, and considering the whole exclusive breastfeeding thing, you need to do that for exclusively 6 months before you start feeding them with water and other, you know, food items. So in this case, a woman would be forced, or a mother would be forced to breastfeed their babies in public, irrespective of where they are. But like Hafiz said, the way society has carved that whole thing and frowns upon a mother, you know, breastfeeding their child in public, it's shameful for me. You know, I mean, if she's at that time, she needs to be closer to the baby. Are you saying that she should give her 6 months old baby to a nanny to at home?
Well, some do that, but
they do. But is it the ideal way?
These days, it's easy to do that.
That's what I'm saying. But some women would prefer to have their babies. That's why some of them actually go for the sick leave and everything, you know. But then again, for me, I still find it so ridiculous if a woman is with her child in public, in a restaurant, at the movies and everything, and the baby starts to cry, and she pulls out the brother. What are you doing? Why don't you just go out? Go to where? I paid money to watch this thing, and you're telling me to leave the auditorium for you to do that kind of thing, you know. And how do you call it? As Hafiz mentioned again about the issue of religion and pornography. I mean, clearly, some men, you know, wouldn't want to see your breast out in public, one for religious purposes. Okay, so that's kind of like them shying away from it. To see a woman in that what do you call it, mode is more like, no, I'm not supposed to see that. First of all, the other part is the pornographic aspect of it, the whole sexualizing it. You know, a man sees a woman's breast and all of a sudden he's turned on. Like, yeah, he keeps staring, and if the woman notices that, then she's forced to stop breastfeeding the child. That's like, not, you get my point. So she stops breastfeeding the child, and then the baby starts crying again, and it's kind of, so I just feel generally, to a larger extent, women are put in a position that is so uncomfortable, and I think is not fair, which society really needs to review and regulate whatever it is, and just do stuff to favor our mothers out there. Yeah.
Now, is it? Would you say, okay? So basically, from the religion and then the whole sexualization of it, it's a mental thing. Because you have two men who can look at the same woman breastfeeding a child, and both of them will not think the same thing.
This argument, I think someone was arguing, and I think they say that men are hardwired to it. And I was like, no, that's not it. Because you see,
hardwired.
For some, when they look at anybody parts, it can turn them.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, and you even look at the religions and cultures. That's why in some places you cover certain parts, you don't cover certain parts. It's still an issue. Okay. Some religions is your hair, so you have to cover up.
Right.
Some is the entire body. Leave just your wrist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just your face and your
Some
hands.
would even look at your knuckles and or your ankle.
All of a sudden.
I mean, with just an ankle bracelet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they get turned on. So it has nothing to do with
The breast specifically,
the breast
yeah.
specifically.
No,
Yes,
I'm
the person is just a
talking about the
pervert.
fact that is there a mental thing?
Yes, there's some conditioning there. But you see, there's also the fact that, I mean, usually when you talk about the breast, come to Ghana, and it writes such as the one by the Krobos, Depot.
Yeah.
What's the-
Why are you jumping?
Nothing.
Why is she
Nothing.
jumping?
I'm
You know-
not jumping. I'm
You know,
just saying.
if you look at the rights there,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
whole thing.
the whole thinking around Depot and everything, where the girls expose their breasts, and it attracts quite a number of people there. You yeah, like, okay, so there's this notion that, and the thinking behind the whole right is that, I mean, the breast is suggestive of how grown you are now. You are a woman, you are fertile, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, scientifically, the breast is not a very good marker of even how fertile a woman is. It's actually the buttocks.
Mm.
Yeah. You see, the buttocks shows how sufficient and how okay, the fat is able to sustain pregnancy.
Guy,
And
you didn't
also-
tell me you
No,
attended
it's
science.
it's-
institute.
It's the
listen.
pelvic.
Yes, and the pelvic. I'm coming there.
You didn't
The
tell me.
pelvic is more key than the
Yes,
buttocks.
it signals that. Yes. And so it's not even just the breast alone. Yes, but that's
That's
so for
kind
me,
of one aspect of the whole thing.
of the whole thing.
Even
So you have the breast, because of how sexualized it is, you have all kinds of, things down to it. Just so
Yeah.
people will look at it. In countries where you have, this breast ironing that I talked about,
Yeah.
I think one of the countries that it occurs
In
very much
Eastern Africa?
is Cameroon. Yes.
Cameroon.
Even in
Right.
Ghana, the one they do is they use the tapoli.
Top
What's the
of it.
English name of the tapoli? The bow tie, the one you used to grind the pepper in the earthenware bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
use it to
some use
actually
stones,
pound
yeah, yes.
the breast of the
Really?
child. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
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 Yes.
You
And
use
some
the
just
tapoli?
tight constantly. Yes, and it's very uncomfortable. And
It's very uncomfortable. How do they pound your breast? Dude, I
Well, you
it
do
would be
it just
uncomfortable.
I mean, they make it sound nice when they're doing it.
I mean,
so-
yeah.
No, but the whole idea is they tell you that it's to protect you from perverts.
Yeah, so you've already psyched your mind already that you're being protected.
Exactly. So you're made to feel like it's a part of you that is problematic, which is worrying.
Mm.
Yes, the whole thinking surrounding it. But I mean, at a time where breastfeeding is being championed, I mean, women should breastfeed their kids more. I mean, this whole behavior or thinking and behavior surrounding it is it doesn't help. It's inimical to the situation that we have at hand, and to the and I think it's even inimical to the SDG goals of the UNICEF and
Exclusive
yes,
thing?
Yeah.
and exclusive breastfeeding
Yeah.
goal that is. And according to the World Health Organization UNICEF, and they have set as one of the global nutrition targets an exclusive breastfeeding rate of 50% at country level by 2025.
2025 here.
Mm.
So, if this is the behavior surrounding breasts, I mean, one takes her breast out not because she's an exhibitionist. She's just looking to feed a child.
yeah.
It's normal.
And
I don't
then-
know why it should turn heads. Really, I don't know why it should make
And you know-
anybody
and
in
you-
the
and
right
it-
state
it's
of
coming
mind
from both
uncomfortable.
angles.
One of the voices I heard, I don't
So
know if you
the-
guys,
the- he
I
talked
don't know
about the
if
sign.
you're enlightened enough, you
You wouldn't do that.
what has breastfeeding in public got to do with enlightenment?
Talking about using breast pump and
Yeah,
all
and all
kinds
of
of
that.
I mean, how many people can afford a breast pump?
You don't even, no, even if you.
I mean, enlightened enough.
Yeah, I think he
Breastfeeding.
was just being too overwhelming in his own statement.
Wait
Wait
till-
till,
Yeah.
breastfeeding.
wait till the baby's hungry.
Honestly, I didn't think it was a problem
Until you-
Honestly.
exactly, yeah.
I mean, because growing up around a lot of maybe I have grown
You
up
get a
around-
lot of women, and it's
So,
something you see
it's
every
just
time.
so normal. So until I saw it, I'm like, but why? I'm trying to see the news here. What?
Well, some people are not used to seeing it, and like Barry said, sometimes they go and sit, and then I sat in it, and the woman was not feeding the baby, and then midway the baby starts acting up, and then she has to actually bring it. And some of them actually, one thing I've noticed some of the women do to actually protect themselves, and then also save the eyes of those sitting next to them is the cover cloth of the dress, the cloth they're wearing. They actually just cover it around the neck. So the baby is underneath it, and then it's
Yeah, some
suckling at the breast, and then they've
some will
covered
cover
it.
that,
So you
yeah.
don't see, you only see there's a cloth
All
covering
this.
here. So you don't see the baby taking.
And you know, all of this emanated or started as a result of reactions from society. Because if everybody saw it to be, I mean, it's okay. She's breastfeeding a baby, and if I see the breast, it's fine.
And I think sometimes you can sit in very close with certain women, especially some may be young, some may be older, and then the baby starts acting up. Someone will tell you straight, like, take out the breast and feed the baby. The baby's hungry. They'll tell you point blank, feed the baby, bring out the breast. And if you're the type who is not, that's why they'll give it to you straight. But then with some people who you bring out the breast, and the way they look at you makes you feel like you're committing a sin.
And I don't know about this. But the thing is, I've met a couple of women that actually, what do you call it? Mothers who have babies that are supposed to be breastfed, every now and then. But then what they were wearing
wasn't
permitting them to breastfeed the baby at that time. So it became an issue. I mean, on two occasions. So the second one actually struck me like, oh, this is similar to what actually happened.
Yes, on a zip so they can open the thing and bring out.
Do you know that was the situation I found myself in? Oh yeah, fortunately for me it was my cousin's wife, but still I was so reluctant. I was like, hey, no wait, I'll go and call your husband. I can't be in this situation right now. But the baby was actually screaming, you know, and so I felt like, no, if you know so at that point she had two bashes. People that you cry, you are breastfeeding. Why would you wear this kind of clothes? And they were hey, then the other parties are also like, okay, so we're waiting to see you, undress and let's see. That kind of thing. So
but that's the thing. Like, why is it causing so much controversy?
Exactly. That's the big question.
It shouldn't be, but I feel how people also see things, and I feel that a lot of it's something for certain societies is normal. For certain, I mean, if you grew up in a community or an area where it's a rare sight to see a woman breastfeed the child, you sit in a car and someone does it by you, and it's like the first time you actually see it.
Are you living under a rock?
Dude,
how often do you walk in the neighborhood and see people breastfeeding the woman?
Come on.
How often do you see it?
I see it quite often. I don't know which societies you guys grew up in, but I see it quite often, and it's very normal.
It is normal, but I'm just trying to say somebody who may live in a place where they barely see it. And then one day they actually sit in a bus and then a woman is doing this. So they sit in probably a meeting or an open space and the woman is actually doing this. It's something that they may think. Like one of the guys was saying he believes you should look for an enclosed space and do it.
So nobody should see your breast.
Yes.
You're punishing the lady at that time, you know?
I mean,
that's a mentality.
And even asking someone to look for an enclosed space to feed a baby. Ask that same person, will you eat in a restroom? Well, that's what is it?
Yeah,
I mean, you can do it, but you're asking someone
to go and do it to a baby, a newborn baby. But I mean, it's sad. I'm happy with the pushing the whole agenda for the 6 months exclusive breastfeeding, because I mean, I think some of all these issues led to some of the women wanting to feed the babies other foods and then also water, so they know the baby is okay. But then the exclusive. Well, most of the nutrients you get from the breast milk within that 6 months accumulate, and they account for key growth in the child. So sometimes when you see some certain people lacking something, they didn't get that much, and they're pushing for it.
And there's this thing that actually sometimes truncates that 6 months, just like as we mentioned. You're supposed to do that for a period of 6 months. You have a 3-month-old baby or a 4-month-old baby who has not actually, gotten to that age where you can now give them water or or feed them with other, food supplements and what have you. So they're in public right now, and everywhere you are you're in a tight corner. Say, hey, let's just give the baby water, So
I feel that's why education is being done now, so that you should know where you're standing.
And
clearly,
that's not quite long ago.
Right.
And you see, the thing about parenting is that, that time when we were discussing it, and when I mentioned that, look, it changes you in so many ways.
Yeah.
Because back then when you were just the only person, when you are very conscious about your looks and what people would say and everything.
Now,
when you are carrying a baby, the baby comes first.
Did you hear what she said? She was like, if you are going to be shy about breastfeeding, why did you go and get that?
You don't be ready to carry the baggage around.
You're carrying your baby and looking all nice, spend so much time on it, and the baby yanks your weave and everything.
They can hold this thing and pull it.
Yes.
Is that what's happening here?
I mean, so those of you being very conscious, I'm sorry, that ship has sailed.
Yeah, right.
Once you have a baby.
Especially when you have a baby who can match up to you and pull your bra and then...
Yes, but then, I mean, one of the problems a lot of people also have is trying to distinguish what the mammalian glands are from.
Yes.
If you don't want to say breast. I mean, some would say, okay, is it for just lactation purposes or is for
You do realize
sexual intimacy?
You do realize we've already started using breasts, so please just go on with the breast. Don't come and do mammalian glands.
I never knew you graduated from the highest science institution
It is breast
in
he's
the world.
talking about. Mammalian, it is breast he's talking about.
When you get to the hospital in the surgery, we
Yes,
can
mammalian glands.
behave yourself.
I'll say mammalian gland.
Use the word.
Can you imagine? Oh boy, behave yourself.
Breast.
Yes. How hard was that?
Mammalian gland.
Happy now?
Indeed.
Even the technical guys are confused.
Just continue.
No, seriously. I mean,
Mammalian
it's unacceptable.
glands.
Yeah, man.
Really, what's going on?
We cannot accept this behavior of yours.
This is breast. We start with breast. Yeah, taking as mammalian
You
glands.
metamorphosis.
So I can't.
My friend.
It's not, but you cannot. But
just continue.
I also feel like the goal you mentioned, the 50% by 2025, it's actually going to require an additional investment of $5.7 billion.
It will be more with this behavior anyway.
I know, right?
Yeah, some struggle with actually looking at the breast as something for lactation. I mean, all they see is a body part that is meant for sexual intimacy.
Sexual pleasure, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the size even makes it worse.
Are you going on that road?
So
Exactly, yeah.
when you try to make them see it that way, it's like they're on a switch or in a mode that can't sleep anyway. It's like
So a question one can ask is, so what is the main function of the breast, aka mammalian gland?
No, you see,
lactation or sexual intimacy.
What exactly?
it works for both. It works for both, but then the main one is the lactation.
You can say it's the main one.
No, I'm saying it's the main one because
Not with men being encouraged to help their wives to avoid breast cancer.
Yes, I get that. I get that. But then also with with the breast milk and everything, do you drink the breast milk?
It's not just for milk purposes.
I'm saying, do you drink the breast milk?
No.
Good. The baby is not going to take the breast milk.
But it's not
No,
just
but
for milk.
I think
Until
I don't know
baby
if
comes.
this has been.
But it works for both. Both the
I don't know if this
the
has been
baby and then the
established.
sexual.
I don't know if this has been established. What they're saying, but to some extent, I agree with her because
It's
I
more
think-
for lactation.
exactly more of it. I think more of the
Goes for
functions
lactation,
goes for
yes.
lactation because that baby that you're going
So
to
a woman that can
procreate.
have children doesn't mean what? It's useless. Is that what you're
No, we're not saying that. We're not
IVF?
saying that. We're just look. It's not that it's useless. You understand me? But when you get pregnant, the milk and everything is generated in it.
And do you know that-
understand me?
you know that-
actually when you get pregnant, that's why those who slim.
not a woman.
It grows.
Fine.
It grows bigger, right?
It grows bigger,
Yeah.
and actually, because when you get pregnant and you give birth, your hormones and everything go to their maximum. So then,
Right.
a slim lady has body, breast, and everything's out like that. That's what it
Yeah.
does. But I'm saying it's for both, mainly for the baby because I mean they have to suckle it.
Mainly
and then
why? That's what my question is. Because you see, it's okay if you tell me that. Look, it's okay.
But you do realize that the baby also suckling it in a way and then pulling and jamming and also constitutes to the.
No, but the
That's
baby is
what-
not strong enough to
But you see,
do what the male figure
Wait
can
till
do.
you meet some babies.
So but I think
yeah, if you're sucking on it and pulling and everything, you seated there and you're getting a hard on. Come on, you're sick. But
Yeah, that's
look,
serious.
That is true. I mean, you sitting and looking at a baby doing that, and you, the man, something they do.
Some babies actually, kind of like a feeding bottle,
Oh yeah, because that's what they're used to, and then the texture of it also enables them to do
with
that.
sexualized particularly
Oh, dear
everything.
Lord.
Even foods these days, someone is eating banana and someone is picturing something else. We've sexualized emojis. You use
It's the mental, it's the mentality.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, right.
We need to decolonize them. It's the mentality.
It's not. I mean,
It's
it comes with the territory anyway. Look at what is it they use in emojis for? I mean, yeah.
For what?
Emoji for what?
For what?
Banana?
For what?
What, sexual pleasures or sexual
Yes,
connotations?
that
How am I supposed to know?
they use. I think it's spell or something. I don't know.
Pear.
No,
I mean,
it's
they've
true.
sexualized
Like the pear we add to
There
the
is
bread.
no, there's banana.
Mm-hmm.
There is I think come on. There's kind of like cereals.
Cereal.
Just the two of it.
Please tell me.
I don't know.
Same
And
thing.
Which cereal?
I think-
Rice?
Yeah. I know more of the banana. Yeah.
Rice connotes what?
Not rice.
No, Effie, you use it quite a
Sorry, did I say cereals? No,
You said
grapes.
cereal.
Grapes.
Grapes, okay.
Grapes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I don't know what it connotes, but there's some aspect of sexual, connotations to that, yeah. I don't know, but what is it like? Why do you think I mean as if I'm a bad? I'm not.
No, I know. No, I'm just
man.
saying. I know. I've seen banana, but then grapes. I'm just wondering what's grapes.
You guys have succeeded. Like, there's a whole generation that has ruined food.
What is grapes about?
There was a time they started with mango. I'm like, I'll be damned if I sit and watch you guys do that to mango. Seriously.
I feel we have to encourage breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Yes, if you
and discourage the way people react to
it. Exactly.
To nursing mothers.
I mean, you the person looking at it weird, dude. You took breast milk.
You know what you said?
Took breast milk.
But see, it goes beyond just saying we are discouraging.
Well, it has
and
to
I
do
think
with
part of solving this whole situation is having more girls, more women do it in public, so that the young ones can see and
make it normal.
More women also stand up for those doing it in public.
Exactly.
Instead of shaming them.
Shaming their colleagues for doing it.
You have to stand up for them.
I mean, if I'm a young woman and I watch, an elderly woman trying to breastfeed and she's running all over the place or looking for a place to hide to do it.
Just sit down and breastfeed your baby.
Of course, it doesn't send the right signal.
Yeah.
What it means is that, it's a process I should be ashamed of, and I should equally be prepared to go through a similar experience, which is not helpful anyway. So it's something they need to see a lot of anyway.
But thank you guys so much. And if you guys, what makes you sit in a public transport and a woman is doing that, do well to just encourage.
Oh yeah, we'll tell her to
you want to cheer on.
Cheer what?
To bring it out.
You're saying encourage.
Yeah.
You want to cheer on.
You know the baby. Have you ever had?
No baby. Sorry, dude.
This is the most baby drama.
Yeah.
But have you ever had a baby suckling at the mother's breast and kicking their legs towards you before?
Oh yeah, several times. I mean, babies are full of drama. Like.
And do you push the leg back or you leave the leg on you?
I remember one guy, one baby like that, Charlie.
It hooked your finger.
It has these long nails, sharp nails, and it was just pretend to play with.
When a baby is suckling, they are in a different
and they grab at practically
exactly. It's either they have their legs on top of their head banging it, or they can't. There's this, they're very flexible at that time, so they can just raise this leg and just put it, or they're scratching their eating their.
How do you watch something as beautiful as that? And I think it was the best. My goodness.
we need to.
We're living in a sickening society.
It is well. I'm happy here. I think I can proudly say that. I mean, here on the continent, not necessarily putting up it against anything, but it's something that is not so. As much as people, have certain attitudes which are not the best, people also actually encourage it more and more and more. We have elder women who actually tell you drink more soup so that you can breastfeed the baby and all that. But thank you guys so much, and thank you for everybody who actually joined us with your thoughts, your comments as well, to Peter, to Paul, to Terrence, to Mama Viga. You guys were really grateful, to Faustina and all the voices. Thank you guys so much.